Hi everyone, it's so good to see you all through our Zoom videos. We hope to all see you really soon in person. Mishka Weinberg from West Rock Avenue in Westville.
And I am Chanoch, and it's wonderful to be here and preparing together for Shavuot.
If you were asked, like Hillel was asked, to give one sentence that encompasses the whole entire Torah, what would it be? How about if you were asked to give one letter of the Aleph to encompass the whole Torah? What would that be? Aleph, the very first letter of the Aleph, the very first letter of the Ten Commandments, the Aseret HaDibrot, Anochi Hashem, Elokecha, I am Hashem your God. The letter Aleph encompasses the Torah's whole mission. Ani, Ata, Alufo Sha'olam, I, you, the master of the whole world, all begin with the letter Aleph. Each of the alphabet are made by divine design. This whole world, everything that we see in it, is made up of letters. Fire, Ish. Every single letter makes up words, which make up our world. These letters aren't random. Every single letter has a specific design, how it's formed. And that form teaches us something very, very, very significant about that letter and what it represents. Let's go back in time to the Alter Rebbe, Baal HaTanya, or Shneir Zalman. The Alter Rebbe once approached one of his disciples, and in a sing-song, he said to him, I have a job to teach my children Torah, and you have the job of supporting your family. Let's swap. I will help support your family, and you will teach my children Torah. You will tutor them. And he took out the Aleph, and he pointed to the first letter, the Aleph, and he said to him, what is this? What is this Aleph? What does it represent? And in a sing-song, and in Yiddish, and I'll say it first in Yiddish, he said, what is this? Was ist das? What is an Aleph? A Pintele von oben, a Pintele von unten, and what is an Aleph? A Pintele von oben, a point above. This is Hashem. A Pintele von unten, a point below, the dot below, that's us, the Jewish nation. Kav be'emsa, the line that connects us and Hashem, that's the Torah.
So we're back to square one. Aleph is one. Aleph is that oneness that connects Hashem and us through Torah to become one entity. Now, here we have somewhat of a hurdle. Because if you notice on the Aleph, you have the dot above, which is Hashem, and the dot below, which is us, the Jewish people. But it seems like there is a disconnect. It seems like there's a divide. Torah is trying to bridge the gap between us and God. How is that possible? It's like a relationship between pen pals almost. They live overseas, far from each other. They can only write letters. It seems like when we learn a text, even such a holy text of the Torah, how does that enable us to be connecting with Hashem and to draw godliness down into the world which we inhabit, so that should uplift the world we lived in? How is that possible? For that, we have not only the text of the Torah, we have the way the Torah was given. And that spectacular event, the event of Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, was the event that really bridged the gap and that enabled for Torah to be that connecting point. Matan Torah was an authentic, godly experience. the Jewish people saw God. They had a face-to-face connection. Not like pen pals, they were now face-to-face. That happened because God came down onto the mountain of Sinai. Hashem says, I will begin, I will go down. I'll come into your reality. I'll break those boundaries that separate us. And I will initiate this connection. A parallel to this idea, where initially there's a gap and we're looking to bridge that gap and we're trying to figure out how do we bridge it, is the idea of a child. Children, they go through life engaging with the world around them in a very tangible way. They relate to things in a very tangible, they feel, they touch, they chew. Pretty much everything they engage with, they chew, because that's the true, that's the truly concrete way for them to connect with what they're learning about, with what they're exploring. They have a difficult time with abstract ideas, like danger. And so when you want to teach a child about the danger of fire, for example, how are you supposed to go about giving over the gravity of the danger that is fire? How can we give over that message so that a child understands? And if you go into a nursery school, kindergarten, you'll have one of the classes during the year will probably be a show and tell, or a fireman who comes in person to the children. Here, the children are given the message of this gravity, of this danger of fire, by the fireman showing up in person. They need to see him. They need to see a fireman dressed up top to bottom in the gear that he is prepared for an eventual fire, with the helmet and the kit. Everything about the fireman represents the danger, the gravity. They've never seen this before because this is unique. This is something extreme. And by showing them this example, they're now able to understand that fire is a big deal. And then you can go about getting them to understand what to do when there is a fire. So you had to initially break that gap in order for you to now bridge the gap and have them understand. Torah is the same. Torah is bridging a gap which is so wide between creator and creation. And in order to have that gap closed, Hashem had to appear in person, so to speak. Give us the ultimate godly experience, which was Matan Torah. So, when you think of an Aleph, which is the Aleph that you think of? Do you think of the Aleph in the text, which is an idea, something abstract, something needs to be learned? Or do you think of the Aleph, which is engraved in the Aseret HaDibrot, in the Luchot? In the 2 tablets were engraved the 10 Commandments. And as they were engraved in the tablets, they weren't one-dimensional, as we have here, where it's quite far apart. They were one, absolutely one with the stone, and truly connected. And so when you think of the connection between us and Hashem, and our mission, Torah's mission, to draw godliness down into this world that we inhabit, and to uplift the world to be more godly, think of that Aleph, which is the Aleph in the Aseret HaDibrot, an Aleph which is engraved, which is tangible, which is real. Know that every moment that you learn Torah, that you study Torah, you're experiencing an authentic, godly connection, and you have a mission, Torah's mission, which is to draw down that godliness into the world which you live in, the reality which you live in, and to uplift that reality. And that's as we see the little legs that connect the two dots. The dot above has a leg that connects, and the dot below has a leg that goes up. And that's our mission, to draw God into the world and to uplift the world in such a way that they become one, and that is the mission and the letter Aleph.